For me, this is my third Mobility Field Day. The first one was Mobility Field Day 4. That's where we actually announced ourselves as a brand in the market. And then, of course, last year was just, the first time MFD went remote. And kind of, I think last year we probably all hoped we'd be back in person. But I'd like to welcome all the returning delegates and the new delegates. And, we tried to put together some informative and educational materials for today. So let me get started here. So pretty straightforward agenda, right? I'll have a little overview section here. Then I'm going to talk about some things we've been figuring out and a feature we developed to help you understand if the existing cabling you have will work for your new AP deployments, your NBASE-T deployments. Then we're going to switch into site security testing, and this will be all interlaced with a lot of demos to keep it lively. And then my partner today, Julio, is going to take over in the second half and talk about the AirMapper ecosystem and some of the work we've been doing there. So when we left off last year, MFD5, I try to be as transparent as I can, and this is my closing slide, right? And we had literally just launched AirMapper, which is the this move that we made to say, hey, let's use the handheld tools as collectors, survey collectors, and let's use the cloud for analysis and visualization, right? And so we ended saying, hey, here's our intent, right? And I just want to circle back and show you that in fact we delivered on exactly what we said we were going to do. So we've since last time and over the last 12 months, right, we've made it easy. Used to be you have to load a floor plan on a thumb drive. Right now you can create a project fully in Link Live, push it down to the tools. Also recognizing that sometimes the survey names, the signal propagation, comments coming up from the units, because users can now add comments on the unit. Weren't right, you can now edit all that stuff before you produce your report. Gather as much information as possible during the walk. Right? This has been sort of our one walk, many views theme. So when we were here last time, all we had was passive survey. We've added active survey, simultaneous active one-by-one. So you can be doing a passive and an active one-by-one to sort of emulate your worst clients. We've just recently added Bluetooth BLE survey at the same time. And then also there's been a lot of work to expand the breadth, right? At each time for each location, each data point, if you will, within the survey, we've added more columns of information, right? We've added minimum basic rate, APTX power, the QBSS channel utilization, right? Those last three are sort of the AP's view of the world, right? And they really just add to the overall picture. And then we realized we had a lot of information scattered about the product, and it was a bit much. If we want to de-skill, if you want to basically just send a unit out and have an admin on site walk around and gather the data for you, that they shouldn't have to know to push up the survey and the discovery information, or if they do an active survey, the connection log, right? So we basically automated all that. We've added additional heat maps, SSID overhead, second and third APs, things like that. A lot of work in topology, right? And I'll show a lot of this, and specifically the things you can do with topology and Wi-Fi. And then once we got topology in place about 6 months ago, we said, hey, boy, the best way to understand what's changing in your network is to let you look at the differences between two different discovery snapshots. And so we have this discovery difference thing, and then we've continued with our collaboration. We've basically made it so that anything, if you're in your Link Live account and you have a discovery file, a Wi-Fi analysis file, a survey, any of that, you can export it, send it to somebody else. All they need is a Link Live account. They can import it, right? There's unencumbered collaboration. There's no licensing required to bring other people into the fold.
Hey, James.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't sure when the right time to ask this was, but I think you just mentioned it, which is obviously licensing is something that's nobody wants to talk about, but it's obviously extremely important. We've heard several times that NetAlly tools can be shared freely, but your license agreement doesn't actually say that. In fact, it explicitly prohibits you sharing your tools. Any movement on reconciling your end user license agreement to reflect what your marketing and social media messaging is?
Uh, well, you know what? That's the first I've heard of that. So, but I'll circle back with the lawyers this week, and we'll get that changed.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get the EULA updated. So, appreciate that.
Different question.
A guy who actually reads the EULA. That's good. Keep us honest.
So addressing the Bluetooth BLE survey, are you looking for just like the signature that the 5 puts out, or are you actually looking for decodable Bluetooth/BLE frames?
We're basically showing you the beacons, what's advertising on Bluetooth. And I tell you, for us, it's been a little bit stunning to go into settings and see literally, hundreds of Bluetooth BLE things picked up, and your ability to even locate them. So, and we'll show that. So hold tight on that one. All right. And then we're always trying to polish the corners, right? Just I'm not going to go through all these, but we just added a whole bunch of other features. Some of them are not relevant to Wi-Fi and mobility, but just a lot of things, a lot of workflow things, right? Just as we're using the product or we get feedback from our users, and we continue to hone out that stuff too. So, and if I were to say where we were right now, sometimes you can sort of ride the wave for a few years on the existing technology and platforms you have. Right now, I'd say we're paddling out for the next wave, right? So obviously, in Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 6E, we're in active development on that, and Wi-Fi 6 is there's more there than you would think. I think of, if you think of like Francois's MCS table, right? That exponential expansion. I wouldn't say it's quite that bad, but we just continues to be little things that need to be addressed and cleaned up, and along with that, adding to the complexity is WPA3, getting WPA3 personal enterprise, and the enhanced open and the transition modes, things like that. Getting all that in the connection logs, and so it's understandable. At the same time, we're advancing the tools right now and kind of bracing for get sort of sometimes you just take this half step back and retool, right? We're just getting bigger and more surveys, and with the topology maps, we really had to take a step back and adjust our performance. So in fact, as of yesterday, we just pushed a new version of Link Live that's about 2 to 3 times faster on renderings, and then lastly, we're working on containerization of Link Live, right? Most of our customers can use Link Live as it stands. And then there's a certain number of customers that don't even need Link Live, right? They just need the tool as a fire extinguisher. But there is a population of customers that need on-prem private Link Live, right? And as we've added more and more functionality of Link Live, as you'll see, we really felt like we were excluding a population of users, and so we're working on a containerized version, if you will, of Link Live that'll be available in a few months. So that's kind of where we are right now.
That's awesome news, by the way. That's phenomenal. I think that addresses a whole lot of use cases for a whole lot of folks. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's not just U.S., but as you get into EMEA, there's a lot of sensitivity about having data in the U.S. GDPR stuff. We run into issues in China, right? Getting through the Great Firewall, and it just goes on and on, right? It's a big move for us. It's a good piece of work, but the message here is we're working on these things. They're big efforts, but we're getting close.